All right. Welcome, everybody. Like as I said, this is our 2025 series of webinar, and there's many requests that we got about learning and understanding how the warranty can be handled from ServiceWorks. So today, it's all about how you can master the art of warranty management and submissions from ServiceWorks. Now, ServiceWorks um, would love to hear from you what topics you would like to see in future webinars. So please give us your feedback. Thank you so much for joining us today. Most of you all know me. I'm Mugda. I've been in ServiceWorks for quite some time now. It feels like forever. I'm always excited to talk to you all about ServiceWorks, non-ServiceWorks things. I just love interacting with all of you, talking to you, and knowing more about your business and how we could help you. Um, Definitely, I'm excited to talk about how ServiceWorks can streamline your warranty service operations of that arm of your business, especially when you're working with services networks like ServicePower and ServiceBench. How you handle those? Those are the ones that we're going to focus on today. Absolutely. So, we're going to see what challenges does ServiceWorks address in the world of warranty service. Many of you possibly receive your warranty jobs from various networks like ServicePower, ServiceBench. We also integrate with First American Home Warranty, but that's about receiving the dispatches from First American Home Warranty. You will still have to submit them in that portal for submission. But as far as ServicePower and ServiceBench is concerned, it's like through and through. From getting your calls to submitting the warranty, ServiceWorks can do that for you. Um, ServiceWorks allows you to receive those jobs from those networks and then work on those jobs like it's a regularly dispatched call to your technician. So I have a combination of a couple of slides here, and I'm also going to dive into our demo account to show you where to set up, and how to manage, basically, how to look at the prereqs for your warranty, and then how to submit that. So I'm going to get quickly started, jumping my slide here. It's going to be a mix of a little bit of both. So let's see. Present. All right. So we're going to do present here. So although there seems like a lot going on here, but it's a simple framework. What is happening here is you have ServicePower, you have ServiceBench, and then you have like ServiceWorks in the middle where you literally have like how the job comes in. The job gets accepted on ServiceWorks, and then you assign a technician. Then the technician goes out to do either diagnose or just if he has already done the triage, he's figured out what is the problem possibly. If he has a part on his truck, he might as well just complete that job in the first appointment. It could be a combination of both, or it could be either. Now, when that happens, the job is completed. Somebody in the office is going to review that information. And once everything is looking as expected, then you're going to go ahead and submit the claim. Then the submission will go to ServicePower or ServiceBench, and they're on your OEMs will track it. And then whatever happens, however, the warranty workflow happens after that. They're going to review what you've submitted. They're going to pay you for your work done. If you're going to get a warranty credit for it, then the company, your OEM, will pay the part distributor from where you ordered the part, and that way you're going to get the credit for the parts that you ordered from that distributor. You can track all of that in ServiceWorks. We're going to see how we're going to do that today, though. So if you look at the substatus transmission from ServiceWorks to ServicePower or ServiceBench, it goes from schedule and route in process, reschedule, complete, and cancel. So these are your ServiceWorks statuses, and they get translated at this in ServicePower or ServiceBench. So this is what typically your framework looks like. Now, what are we going to see today? This is our warranty quadrant. We're going to see setup. We're going to see mapping. We're going to see what fields come in. We're going to see how the submission happens. And we're going to understand how we're going to track claims. That's the whole goal, right? We learn how to set up. We learn how the mapping is. We learn how the job comes in and what gets tracked and what doesn't. And once the tech has completed the job, what are the prereqs that you need to have in that completed job so that you can systematically submit your claim ticket and then you get paid for that claim. So those are the few things. Setup, we learn how to set up service your network. We do the mapping, we do the submission, and we do the tracking as well. So let's look at, there's going to be some screenshots. Now, for ServicePower, there is a specific credentials that you need to request from ServicePower. Your hub credentials will not work. You have to reach out to ServicePower saying, hey, I am getting ready to connect my ServicePower account to ServiceWorks, and I need my API credentials. And then they will give you a certain set of instructions, and you can create your API credentials, and you can use those credentials to plug in to ServiceWorks so that your calls start flowing in from ServicePower to ServiceWorks. So if you want to look at this as a potential feature that you would like to work on and see how you can work within ServiceWorks with all your warranties that will be coming in. That's the ServicePower contact information. If you have to reach out to ServicePower, that is where you would reach out to. If you guys want to take a screenshot, please feel free, feel more than welcome to take a screenshot and reach out to them. And once that's done, you have ServiceBench. How do you connect ServiceBench? Now, these are the different options that we have in service. We're going to see that actual part in ServiceWorks. So I'm going to do a combination of slides, and when this webinar gets posted online for a review for later, you should be able to see these as well, just so that it's like a refresher in your mind where you saw what type of screens. So if you look at your ServicePower here, ServiceBench here, we're going to go over this screen that is in the setup part. So I'm going to move on to my test account where we have your configuration. So if you go to your settings under integration, you will find claim processor setup. Under that, you can simply click on this plus sign and you can, key in ServiceBench and ServicePower, whichever processor you work with. And let's start with ServicePower. So you got that. This is not the right username because this is my test account, but usually your account, which is, a little bit of a combination of characters and numbers, your old account number, your ServicePower account number would be the the username here, and the password is the one that they would give you from ServicePower. Now in here, if you ever have used a different credentials for a claim submission to ServicePower, you can check this box and enter those credentials here for submitting your claims warranty. If it is same as the credentials that you've got from ServicePower, no problem. Just uncheck it and keep going as regular business. Now you have the option to schedule if you want to do whenever the call comes in. You can either set it at as is, or you could do like an all-day job. So you'll have a little bit of more flexibility to move around that job depending on your technician's availability. You can set this at auto accept, and you could also have the substatuses flow back in to ServicePower or ServiceBench whenever your technician is working on, if they're en routed. We saw here in our first slide here that if it is en route, it will show as en route in ServicePower and ServiceBench both. And it will send the substatuses as well as you go about the job. And then you can have a favorite color of yours to identify the jobs that are coming from ServicePower. And then you can have a separate color to identify that they're coming from ServiceBench. So that way you can easily differentiate between those. Now, what happens if you do auto accept? If you do auto accept, then all the jobs are going to just flow in and they're going to start showing up on your calendar, and they will be assigned to a tech called as ServicePower dispatches or ServiceBench dispatches. All you need to do is switch that tech to an actual tech who is really going to do that job in the field. And that's all you need to do. And you need to move around the job if you have, if the client has like specified a specific time, and if you've got in touch with them and they have like, okay, I'm not available tomorrow, or depending on their availability, you can move the job on the schedule. So That's how you're going to do the ServicePower setup. Now let's talk about ServiceBench. So when we talk about ServiceBench, you have the ability to select your service administrator. Let's say if you are doing from ServiceBench, if you're doing Danby US, so you can select Danby US, you can put in your ID, you can put in your username and password. Username is user, and you will put in your password. You can do auto accept, sync claim status and payment, and send sub status. So we're going to talk about this at the later part, but remember this part where we're going to talk about how we can sync the claim status and the payment status from ServiceBench. Now that option is not available with ServicePower. So just so if you're wondering, um, because this option was certainly not there for ServicePower. Now here, let's say through ServiceBench, you do Danby US, you do LG US, and then you do, Panasonic, or if you do some other ones. So each of your service administrator will have a different entry. So I would do ServiceBench, then I would do Danby, and then I would put in my service my ID and my password. So say user, I can do whatever ID. And then of course my credentials are not going to be verified, but I have that option to, you know, track it. So you're gonna have two entries, one for whatever and one for really like the Danby Canada. So that ways you will be able to track your entries like that. So you have this for ServiceBench, you have another one for ServiceBench. So if you have three service administrators, you will have three entries for ServiceBench. I hope that's, I hope that's clear, so that's how you're going to pretty much cover the setup part of it. That is just putting the credentials in and then plugging in your creds, connecting ServiceWorks, ServicePower, ServiceBench together, and then your calls will start flowing in depending on what you've set up. If it's auto accepted, the calls will start flowing in gradually on your calendar. If not, and if it's not on auto accept, you will go to this bell icon, you'll go to tickets, and you will find your tickets here, and there will be an accept and assign button over there where you could actually accept that ticket and assign that ticket to a technician. So you could do either of that. If you do view all, it will take you to like the entire listing of ServicePower or ServiceBench. You can do that as well. So that's where you're going to find your tickets at. So that's one part of the setup. There's the second arm of the setup is to be able to track how the warranties are submitted. You need to have the accurate OEM information. You need to have the accurate distributor information that needs to be set up in ServiceWorks. So when you submit the claim, we're trying to make that process as error-free as possible. So if you go to configuration here, inventory settings, you have your manufacturer setup. And then if you look at this pencil, each of them has an OEM number. Okay. You have to put that account number in here. And I will show you where to find that in ServicePower and ServiceBench in a bit here. I do not have, unfortunately, access to anybody's ServicePower or ServiceBench account or my test account for that matter. I don't have one, but I will definitely show you with screenshots where you can find that information. So let's look at that, and you can put in, whether the part submission to warranties by cost or price. You need to make sure we put that in here as well. So let's say I put in the OEM number, whatever, here. And then I'm also going to put for like, I have a test job that I'm going to work with for you guys. So let me find that. So I'm just going to say, what OEM number is. All right. Now, if you have any other brands, like Frigidaire has, some other brands underneath it, then you can actually click on this view option and see, you can have more sub brands in here, and then you can put in the account number as well for that one. So that is how you are going to set up your OEM So this is extremely important information. If we do not set this up, and when you submit the warranty, you will get like invalid manufacturer number or manufacturer ID not present. Those are the kind of errors that you will run into. So this is an important part of setup. Now, getting credits, right? How do you get credits? How is your OEM going to understand that you purchased a certain part from a certain distributor? So that OEM has to give you credit for that. It's just a quick quiz question. So if anybody knows the answer, I would love to see that in the webinar chat. How will you, there has to be a common factor, right? What is that important factor that will, there are three things actually. So anybody wants to post an answer in the chat? I'll just open the chat to everyone. We'll see. I'm looking at chat. There are three things. You know, how will an OEM know that you ordered a part number 1234 from Marcone, and they are supposed to give you a credit for that? Anybody can give me any answer for this, just to make it more fun. Leanne, you're partially there. Which invoice number you're talking about? Yes. So she's right there. So whenever you put a part on the job, there is a placement where you can put the invoice number, the order number, and you need to tell who did you order that part from. And then with your manufacturer distributor mapping, yes, the distributor number, that number, that mapping number is critical. If you set that up correctly in ServiceWorks, it's super easy. It's going to track it by that number, by that invoice number, by the distributor, and the OEM will know that, okay, I need to pay Cody for this job, for this part ordered at this time from this distributor. So that's how you're going to get that warranty credit. Awesome. You guys know what you're doing. Okay. So you have your distributor set up here. We're going to go in here. We're going to see, you know, if Marcone has that. So if I have to put in something, I will say Bosch, and then I have another number added here. So that is my account number associated to that. So this is the area where you find your distributor mapping, and we need to know where to find this information. This all information is available in ServicePower and ServiceBench. So we're going to go and see where to find that information in ServicePower and ServiceBench. So let's go and dive into my slideshow. Let's look at that. Da, da, da. Here. Power credentials, we talked about this. Now this is a very small screenshot that I have from ServiceBench. All right. If you look at this area, which is service provider profile, you can go ahead and see what accounts are you servicing. If you do Whirlpool, if you do something else, then you are typically going to see that these are your providers. Then you need to add Whirlpool as your manufacturer in ServiceWorks with the account number, which is associated here. And that account number goes into that OEM number in ServiceWorks. Now this is from ServiceBench. Same, this is where it goes. So I just posted the screenshots in case you guys forget, you know, and I gave you the path where you need to go find it as well in ServiceWorks. So these will be available in the slideshow. Okay, now part distributor search. You go to admin, there's part distributor and vendor maintenance in your ServiceBench, and you can see what the account numbers are here, and you put in those account numbers. Those are the account numbers for your distributor. That is what you're going to use for mapping. And that goes in here for the mapping one. So I hope this information is super easy to follow, and it may not be easy to remember, but it is all in here. Like I said, this will be available for referencing later. So if you think that, oh, that is why my claim failed, then this is the information that you're going to put in here. So this is exactly how your setup is going to happen. Now, when the ticket comes in, the ticket information, this is a ServiceBench ticket. We're going to also see ServicePower ticket. All these fields that have that little green check mark, those are the ones that we read and we bring from ServiceBench and ServicePower. So sometimes we might wonder, I see this information in ServicePower, but I don't see that in ServiceWorks, or I see this certain information in ServiceBench, but I don't see that typically in ServiceWorks. Why? Sometimes we may not have access to that information. And all this happens, all this integration works through API. So if our API cannot, if they don't give us access, we cannot read that data, unfortunately. And that's why we may not have that information set up in ServiceWorks for you to look at. But mostly 99.99%, all the important information you require to submit a claim comes over from ServicePower or ServiceBench to ServiceWorks. Now, of course, if there is something new that they've really added very super recently that we don't know, they don't always tell us, like what changes are being made or what happens, but we'll eventually find out and we will include those in there. But as of now, we bring in the brand, we can see the purchase date, the model number, the serial number, the administrator's name. We bring in the customer information, like customer name, city, state, zip, everything, email, phone number. We bring the payment terms. We bring in the scheduled date, the time slot. When it says slot start time 8 a.m., that means it's, the start time is 8. And then when it says slot 8, that means it is an all-day job that it is coming as for 8 hours of that. So this is typically what comes in. What also comes in is your ServiceWorks dispatch number, this ticket number, this big one which says SWPT44, blah, blah, blah. So that is your dispatch number. Now, dispatch number in ServiceWorks is super, super searchable. I will show you places where you can go and you can search in your dispatch numbers. These are the fields that are listed from the previous screen, what they are mapped as. So this is all that we map from ServiceBench to ServiceWorks. And then this is like, what do we call? Brand is called as brand in ServiceWorks. Appliance product name is called product details. Model is model number. Serial is serial number. We're just trying to match apples to apples. What field is called as what field? Now, in ServiceBench, I would also like to add that there is a golden banner that you can see on the job on the top and on the product information. So the information that we bring in the banner from ServiceBench is your service administrator's name, your CRM number. If there is a deductible, like the copay information, we bring that in there. And we also bring in the authorization amount. So you know that you are authorized for a specific amount for this job. So that information, it's all in that banner, which is there on top of the product information. So that is the information that we display over there. This is typically for ServicePower. If you look at this screen here, let me make a note of, I have to show you the dispatch number search. All right. So now in here, this is your ServicePower screen. Let's say if you're doing Assurant, then make sure that Assurant is present in your manufacturer list there along with the account ID. Or if it is anything else, make sure you will find this is, you go to your settings on the top in ServicePower, go to coverage, go to networks, and you will find all your client code is your OEM number. So please use that if you haven't used it already. Same ways, put it in here, same screenshot, just like how it was. And if you have like a distributor in here, like Guardsman, you have the client code, then use that to map it in here for the distributor mapping as well. Same concept for ServiceBench, ServicePower. And this is a ServicePower ticket. This is your dispatch number. These are the fields that we bring in from ServicePower, and we bring in the installation date, the serial number, the product description, product ID, model, the brand description, etc. And the problem description for both of them, it is going to be fed into your job description. That's where it goes in. And these are the fields that are mapped to ServiceWorks. Fields that are not mapped from ServicePower are here as well. Now, again, this is like apples to apples comparison. The call number from ServicePower becomes the dispatch number in ServiceWorks, and so on, how that is called. Now, these are the videos, but I'm going to show you all the submission part in the account itself, how that's going to happen. But going back to this area, you can submit the dispatch number in here. You could actually search in this universal search box by dispatch number. You could also go to your all jobs page. You can search by dispatch number right here. It's super easy and very intuitive. So you can find the dispatch number literally right here as well. And where do you find it in the job? The dispatch number, there is, since this is a manually created job, yeah, I do have a place for it. So if I'm just gonna like put in line or something. So that's my dispatch number that I have in here. All right. So let's say how you're gonna look at, so that's all about like the setup, how you find everything, and how we do the mapping. So out of the four the quadrants that we talked about, we covered how do we set up, how do we map. Now we're going to look at what is required for submission, right? What do we need in order to have like a successfully submitted claim. And please feel free, if you have any questions, post them in the question answer box. So Taj can take a look at it. If he has some blog posts to send in, he can do that as well. So this is the golden ribbon bar that I was talking about. There should be one here, and there would be one here, and it will talk about the additional information as copay, your authorization amount, if that is coming from ServiceBench, and so on. So in here, if you go for ServicePower, you will add your, for ServicePower, ServiceBench, both, if you have like a copay, then the copay, the best practice to add a copay and show it to your customer would be, because this is going to give you two invoices, one customer invoice and one is for warranty invoice, which goes to your OEM. Now, let's say if this customer owes me $20 a service fee or whatever, that's a copay that they owe me, then I'm not going to add that here because this essentially gets billed to my OEM, right? I'm going to add the other charge here under the charges section. The charges section is nothing, but it's like service charge, labor charge. It's showing you the cumulative of your items and your service line items here. Now, you can just do add service and you can pick copay and deductible and you can add your copay, $30, and then you can bill it to the customer here. So that is already billed to customer. Now, there's other questions that I always get is taxable or non-taxable. Now, if it is a non-taxable, you can do tax exempt. You can check this box. All your tax fields will just get like, it will get nullified, but by default, like, if you have your taxable setup turned on for your price list, or if your items, then it's going to automatically show as taxable. And that setup is in your price list and your inventory. Individual parts, whenever you create a part, it does give you an option whether do you want this, do you want tax to be charged all the time on this job. So if that setting is turned on, this is going to show you that, but you have the ability to check and uncheck and understand how to toggle these switches for taxable and non-taxable. It's very flexible. We've kept it pretty open-ended and fluid because you can go ahead and check and uncheck depending on what your taxable and non-taxable situation is. So definitely that's something that you can do. So that's about searching a dispatch number, looking at the right things in the right place, looking for your copay amount and how to bill that to your customer. So when you do that $30 copay on your customer, billing your customer, your customer invoice would just show those $30, and that $30 will not be a part of your warranty invoice because that is what we're going to submit to your OEM. So that's about the copay or the deductible. Now we're going to talk about submission. So let's say, how do we submit? Now, throughout the day, let's say if you have 10 jobs, 20 jobs that are completed, you want to review each one of those. You go to the warranty list here, and I've already pulled one of those jobs, but I'll just go ahead and play a little bit here, 34510. All right. Now, vendor status, vendor type, and your vendor. So if I want to do like ServiceBench, I can say, show me all my unsubmitted, and I'll clear off the job number, and it will show me, oh, well, this is the one that I have, but it will show me all the unsubmitted ones for ServicePower. And then whatever I have manually submitted, it will also show me that. So if I go to unsubmitted here, I have this. Now, item details show there is labor, there's everything. So before I actually submit it, I'm going to just review all the information that is in the job here. What we're going to review is we're going to make sure that this job is completed. That's the first. And then in your professional action, you need to have your service performed filled in because that is the information that they look for. We send this to ServicePower or ServiceBench. Those are the notes that goes in. And then what we're going to look for is your dispatch number. That needs to be there. Your brand, your model number, serial number, appliance information, all of that, that needs to be there. Now for a claim processor, ServiceBench, if I select that, we need to select the correct labor and part information here. You might not have a part on the job, but you still will select the part billing. Gail, if you have a question, go ahead and post it in the Q&A box. I saw your hand raised. Thank you. So you can pretty much, there's no part, but there's a part here. Let's say if that part did not exist in this job, I would still select the part billing because that's how the submission would understand where you're submitting everything to. If you have a defect code or a repair code, that needs to go into your defect code and repair code. Now, many a times what happens is everybody will come here and they click on this. So you can type in a defect code, say 02 or whatever. And if I keep that here and if I save it, this MA2 will be available for you in the next time to come in. And this dropdown will learn from whatever you have typed in there. So these are something that you will find in ServicePower and ServiceBench. Those are the defect code and the repair code that we would require you to put in here. Once that's done, pretty much you can, go ahead and focus on making sure that your billable 2 is set up to your OEM correctly. Your part disposition needs to be selected saying delivered or installed. You need to have your distributor number, the order number, or the invoice number that it has had. And then you're going to go ahead and save this information. And once that is done, your necessary information is all there. Now, depending on your setup that you have done with ServicePower, ServiceBench, ServicePower, if you have set up your claim submission credentials correctly, all of that, it's going to go ahead and then let me refresh it. You'll find it and you can go ahead and you can go to action and do like a ServiceBench or a ServicePower claim submission. I have not connected these two, so I'm just going to go ahead and manually submit that. And then I would get a reference number or claim number, whatever. If I've done manually, then I can come in and I can put my claim number here, what that is, and it will stay here for that. So now when I have submitted my claim, there is a report that can actually show you how many days old your warranty is. And that would basically give you an idea how many days you've not got paid for a certain warranty after you have submitted. So if you are in ServiceWorks already, and then if you can go to your report section, and if you want to mark that as favorite, that would be super, super awesome. It is warranty, overdue warranty receivable. That's a very important key report. I'm just going to run as is. Now, if I look at that, it will tell me that this is the warranty I've submitted in the last 30 days. And then how many overdue days it's to 0. And I don't know if I can just look at something that is older than that. We'll see. Okay, I don't have one. But you will be able to, in your own account, you should be able to see this report. Now, what happens when I click pay? It will take me to the warranty accounts receivable area in ServiceWorks to post my payments. For ServiceBench, definitely we can bring in the claim status, whether you got paid or not, and we tag it as ACH, and we only bring in the labor that you get paid for, not for the parts. The parts, you will still have to mark that as, payment received, whichever way, or if you've got warranty credit and so on. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go say pay. Now it will directly take me there, but just to walk you guys through it, if you want to go to accounting, you can go to warranty account receivable, and you will land on the same page as I just landed, which is, this is like a direct one I came into, but I can come here and see this. Now I can see the Bosch one here, and I can go see the payment. And then it would show me my dispatch number here, and this is the one that I was talking about. So that ways I get paid for, the labor here. It will tell me what it needs to, what you need to post the payment as. So for example, this is the one directly I landed on. So I got paid for this. I'm going to say I got paid by cash or check or ACH, or I would just say warranty parts credit or pheasant for whatever I have received. So I'm going to just take the payment, and that's how you will track your warranty claims receivables in here for warranty claims. So that's typically, if you look at that, coming back to our little slideshow here, this is going to talk about what are some of the important things that you need to watch out, how to get it done, how to review and modify the fields in the ticket to make sure you have a successful direct submission, dispatch number, product details, all of these that we went over. These are the critical ones that you need to definitely watch. You need to make sure that your claim processors are set up, everything is in place, same stuff here, make sure you have your distributor set up correctly, your invoice number is there, your billable is correctly set up. All the fields that are required, we need to make sure that everything is there. Everything is on there. So those are some of the things that we need to watch for. This is your warranty receivable. Let me go over that. So you can see how that is looking like. You can see the pay section, and you can see each one of them. You can click on it, and you can go there, and you can see how you want to post those payments. Now, these are some of the very popular errors that you might run into. And the recent one that we have found is the blank repair category. That is the one. And we're working on that one. We are aware of that another field that they are asking for. So ServiceWorks is working on accommodating that at the moment. Gil, you had raised your hand. I think you had a question. So go ahead and post your question if you can hear me in the Q&A box so we can answer that for you. So these are some of the things that you might find yourself running into when you submit a warranty, basically. So let's see, what are those? And claim $0 claim amount. If your claim has $0 labor, $0 parts, the claim will give you this error. That's what would happen. So these are some of the errors that you might run into. Now, this is just basically that is about. Now, let me go over your list of questions that you've had. submitted prior to this. Da, da, da. Okay. There is a question from somebody who mentioned that they wanted to know the whole process. I hope we covered everything from start to end. It's okay, Gil. I was concerned that you had a question and I didn't know. Didn't see that. So, and then there is setting up of warranty and ServiceWorks. Yeah, we went over that. And then we have a part didn't yet marked finished. We're just marked as ServiceBench, but you accidentally chose Power. Yes. So someone has a question here, and I don't know if they're here, but they asked, how do we find a human error? Let's say a part didn't get marked, finished, or the job is marked as ServiceBench, but it is accidentally chose as Power. So when you are on the warranty page here, let me share again. I know you guys are seeing my slideshow. Just a second. In here, in warranty claims, if you are going by vendor search, typically by ServicePower, and unsubmitted, if you have accidentally marked that as a ServicePower ticket, it will show up here. And then it will obviously result into an error, but typically you will see if there is 00 here, you won't see like there's no amount for item details. That's one clue that it has missed, that you haven't marked the part as installed or delivered maybe. And then you will see like the parts listed here under items. If there isn't any, that means you either missed it or there was no parts in that. So that's one clue to take a look at that. Coming through. Okay, somebody wanted to know how to streamline warranty submissions and taxable and non-taxable parts on warranty tickets. Example, part warranty on part and another part installed on non-warranty. So I think I answered that question. You can pick between those check boxes where you could actually check and uncheck the one that is taxable and non-taxable. So that helps you there a little bit. ServiceBench and ServicePower won't submit from my ServiceWorks. There are some new things. Yes, so I think we came across that. If you have like a hash in the password for ServiceBench, I believe the connection is dropping off. So if you are experiencing that, I think more than a couple of users had reached out, and we reached out to them saying that if you have like a hash in your password, then change your password, get rid of the hash, and then reconnect it. And that should connect you back to ServiceWorks. That should bring your connectivity back. So that is something that could be a possibility. So you might want to look into that. And if you need more help, please reach out to us. We would be happy to help. Best practices for claim submittals. So there was a blog post that we had posted in ServiceWorks about it's like a small checklist that you need to watch for. Warranty submission. Yes, this is the one. Taj, if you want to post this link, it literally walks you through how you can track everything, basically. So it's a very good one. You ServiceWorks or no ServiceWorks, this is like the framework of tracking your warranty, like the best practice. So if you guys want to take a look at it, this would be awesome. Todd, you can go ahead and post it. I think he already did. Okay, awesome. So I think that is a good one to look at. Um, ServiceWorks or download cancellation. Okay. I think if there is a cancellation, the job status changes to canceled. So that is something that happens with the substatus and the status submission. I would definitely recommend you to check if you are sending the substatus or are you syncing the statuses of your jobs. So that is something, that is a setting that you should be checking. And then what else do we have here? Um, da, da, da. Service track. Yeah, mostly I'm having questions like I want to streamline warranty to understand how to streamline, how to submit easiest, how to file warranties, step-by-step process. I hope this was step by step. Do you all have any questions? Do you want to post anything in the Q&A box here? I don't see questions coming in. Leon, what's that number about? Well, okay, dispatch in the alert area. You're talking about the notification bell where you can see the calls? Is that your question? Yes. Yeah, so when you go here on the top, like I said, this is my demo account. So technically we have here ServicePower and ServiceBench. There will be like a whole list. And then it will show you the jobs that are coming in. And then you can either accept and assign, or you can reject a call if you want to. So that's pretty much, that is how you will be viewing and refreshing all of the tickets in here. So that's about that. And if you have, if you have more to discuss, you can reach out to our support to talk about that. Will we get a spot to put distributor number on parts? This is not the same as distributor number. Distributor number for parts. Which area are you talking about and referring to, Sean? In the part section, there is a placeholder for a distributor, and then there's a placeholder for invoice number and order number. Yes, your OEM is a separate number, and then there will be a separate distributor number for that manufacturer, and that is the number that you need to put in to, you know, in your distributor mapping that I was talking about, that is here. And those screenshots will definitely walk you through where you would put in those. Let me go back to inventory information here in distributor. Are you referring to this one, this distributor mapping, Sean? This one right here? Thank you, Jake. Thank you for coming into our webinar. Appreciate it. Which page are you referring to, John? What would you like to see so I can help you navigate to that page? Okay, so yeah, this is the page, Sean, that you're looking at for posting your manufacturer distributor mapping. And John, if you're referring to the same screen that I have up here, then you would go to settings, and from settings, you'll go to inventory settings and distributor. And then it is here. So typically, that's how you go to here. Does that make sense, John? You got it? Any other questions anybody has? Okay, perfect. You got it, John. Awesome. We have a few more minutes. Any more questions? I know it was a lot of things that we had to go and it was pretty fast, but if you guys want to talk about something offline, please feel free to reach out to support@service.works, or you can also reach out to success@service.works. We'd be more than happy to help. Absolutely. Is there any other questions that I can answer for you guys? Got a couple minutes, 3 minutes. Oh, I see Brian here. Hi, Brian. I didn't see you join earlier. Maybe sorry, I didn't like focus on the attendee list and I just saw your name here. Hope you're doing well. One more question. Oh, in the scheduling area, Leon, we have the views now, so you can actually go to any of the views and you can set one of those views to a specific zone, I guess. Then you can just see areas in that zone. And then if you have like in your service settings, if you have zones, I think you can let's see. You can possibly do like a default zone setup somewhere. You have, you should be able to do that from the views in the top left, the new thing that has come up. Zone 3. Yeah, maybe is your company zip code or your address, if it belongs to zone 3, then it's possibly, that's why it's defaulting to. I mean, if you're looking for immediate assistance on that and you need to fix it, please feel free to reach out on the chat or just call the support line. They should be able to help you figure that out. Or two different numbers if we can talk later. Yes, Sean, definitely. And those two are different numbers. Yes, they are different numbers. And both the numbers, you should be able to find it in ServicePower and ServiceBench. I hope I understand what you're referring to. There's two different numbers. Feel free to reach out to me. Just email me, or you can reach out to support as well. Either or ways. But I think those are the two numbers. If you're looking for the mapping number, and then that number also, you should be able to find it in the ServicePower, ServiceBench setup. Any other questions? Anything that I can help with? It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. I literally look forward to these webinars so I can talk and interact with you guys, understand what you need, and answer questions. Let me know, John, if you have anything. I hope you got the screenshot or whichever screen you were looking at. And when this webinar done processing and everything is all up and online, Taj usually picks it up from there and he posts it on YouTube. And you should be good to look at it possibly tomorrow. It takes a little bit of time for Zoom to process it. Um, Looking forward to our next webinar. We'll announce the date soon. And please feel free to let us know how you felt about this topic. I would really love to hear your feedback. Um, and if you guys want to tell me if there's something missing in your warranty process, that how you're doing it today. And if you need to streamline it, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you in any possible way. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody, and have a great weekend. Happy Thursday and happy Friday again for tomorrow. Bye.